I came out to Los Angeles right after college in 1975, ages ago. I came out to go to graduate school at UCLA Filmmaking School. Stayed there for a couple of years, made a couple of short films, and then I got a big break working with a famous French new wave movie director, Louis Malle, and he asked me if I would be his stagiaire, his assistant on a movie he was making, Pretty Baby, down in New Orleans, which was my hometown. So I worked with him on that, stayed for a couple more years in New Orleans, came back, wanted to be a movie director, an auteur who would write and direct my own very serious art films, but ended up getting a job with the one family connection I had, who was a big movie producer named Larry Gordon, who did Die Hard movies and others like that. And so I worked with him in his small sort of family company at the Paramount lot at Universal. And then he fired me. And it was a great thing because then I sat down and I wrote Big Trouble in Little China. And then ever since I've been a screenwriter. The next big break in my career came with the Total Recall, which was the best experience of my career, really. I was working with Paul Verhoeven, who's a great director and loves writers, and we worked very closely on the screenplay, and he brought me down with him to Mexico City for 5 months where we prepped and shot the movie, and that was fantastic. And then after that Minority Report, was now in the Philip K. Dick business, and I was looking for a follow-up. I actually started with Minority Report by optioning it to be a small film that I would direct myself as a follow-up to Total Recall. But I mentioned it to Paul Verhoeven to see if he wanted to be my executive producer, and he said, well, you know, Gary, I would. This is a very good project, but what do you think about you doing this as a sequel to Total Recall? And I said, well, Paul, I thought you didn't want to do sequels, because back then, really good directors didn't do sequels to their hits. And he said, no, yeah, but this is different. This could really stand on its own. I think it would be good. So I thought, okay, this seemed automatic. I would have Paul Verhoeven, Arnold Schwarzenegger in a studio ready to make the sequel. And so I started off and started writing it in that way. Of course, little did I know that in the end, the production company would go bankrupt. I moved the project over to 20th Century Fox with Jan de Bont, and eventually it got made with Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise, but it wasn't so quick. It took 10 years, which is about as long as it took Total Recall to get made after it was written.